His name was Vincent Okich, and he was born in a small village called Pita, located in Uganda. Like every other child, he sat up at 5 months old and began crawling when the time was right. However, when he reached 18 months and it was time to start walking, the problems began. Vincent's parents noticed that he had trouble walking as his legs appeared unusually large. Despite their concerns, they pushed the thought aside as they couldn't afford to take him to a clinic for a checkup. Unfortunately, the family didn't have access to free healthcare. As Vincent grew older, his legs became increasingly swollen and he could barely crawl, let alone walk. He had to move by using his buttocks to lurch forward. By the time he was 10, his legs had grown so large that he earned the nickname Elephant Boy. His mother and father had no choice but to carry him around. After bathing him each day, they would dress him in skirts or dresses and place him on a large blanket, then carry him to a spot where he could watch his friends play. Like any regular kid, the boy desperately wished he could run around and simply kick a ball with the other boys from his village. But as much as he wanted to get up and walk towards them, his legs wouldn't let him. He just quietly sat by himself each day, watching them with tears in his eyes. Some of the kids in the village teased and taunted him. They called him Elephant Boy and even discriminated against him. Vincent was devastated. His health condition prevented him from playing and running around with his friends. Besides the discomfort of having huge legs, he felt awful about having to wear skirts and dresses because no shorts or trousers could fit. He became the object of constant mockery. Due to his parents' financial problems, they were unable to get him proper health care and manage the situation as best they could, until Dr. Isaac Ozier came to their rescue. Dr. Ozier, who runs an organization called Empowerment of Disadvantaged Youth and Children, helps children from poor villages access medical treatment. Dr. Ozier had heard about a boy with elephant-like legs and hurried over to Pita to see for himself. At first, he thought the description of the boy's condition was exaggerated, but when he arrived, he couldn't hide the surprise. The legs were bigger than he had ever imagined, almost 4 times the size of the boy's body. He had never seen anything like it before. Dr. Ozier suspected it was elephantiasis and knew something had to be done immediately. After spending a few days gaining the family's trust, he told them he was going to help Vincent get better. Vincent's father, Tito Apoya, couldn't believe someone was willing to help his son. In a statement, he shared how devastated Vincent had been. It really upset him because he has to wear pink, and the other kids tease him. He is only small, but his legs are really heavy and weigh more than he does. It makes him unable to do things his peers can do. He can't live a normal life because his legs won't allow him. My boy is very young, but he's faced so many challenges already. The family was extremely grateful for Dr. Ozier's help. Dr. Ozier drove Vincent to the Comprehensive Rehabilitation Services in Uganda Hospital along Entebbe Road, where the boy was given preliminary treatment. Dr. Ozier hoped the surgeons at the hospital would be able to help, but when they saw the size of Vincent's legs, they were lost for words. Still, they wanted to understand what caused Vincent to have such gigantic legs. They ordered MRI scans to be carried out. The scans were conducted at Best Diagnostic Center in Kampala. From the scans, the doctors initially believed that Vincent was suffering from a complicated mix of a faulty lymphatic system, elephantiasis, and tissue deformity. They also discovered that the swelling had affected Vincent's bones, leading to dislocated hips and broken ankles. However, nothing conclusive could be determined. The doctors carried out a biopsy as they were still uncertain about the root cause of the deformity. The biopsy results suggested that Vincent might also be suffering from necrotizing fasciitis, a serious bacterial infection that destroys tissue under the skin. This disease occurs when bacteria enter the body through a break in the skin. People like Vincent, with a weakened immune system, are at greater risk of developing this condition. Dr. Ozier became worried that the doctors in Kampala were merely guessing and didn't have the proper resources to make a clear diagnosis. The doctors informed Dr. Ozier that they might have to amputate Vincent's entire leg to save his life due to the flesh-eating disease. But Dr. Ozier believed Vincent's legs could be saved. along with his life. The hospital now says it's considering amputation of Vincent's legs at the thigh. I'm very worried about this because we keep hearing different diagnoses, and it's difficult to know what is correct. All I want is for Vincent to have a chance to live a normal life because that's the least he deserves. He shouldn't have to suffer so much, and I hope we can give him the life he deserves, Dr. Ozair said. Determined to get a second opinion, Dr. Ozair reached out to doctors overseas to assess Vincent's condition and offer treatment. Thankfully, a UK medical team responded to Dr. Ozair's call for help and volunteered to treat the boy. Isn't that amazing? A part of the medical team was flown in to assess Vincent's condition and begin treatment before transferring him to the UK. Their plan was to drain the excess fat from his tissues before the transport. This turn of events filled Vincent and his parents with hope. They hoped the British doctors could help him take the first steps toward regaining the use of his legs. Sadly, it wasn't meant to be. On December 26, 2012, Vincent Okic lost his battle with the disease. He passed away before he could receive the proper treatment. Dr. Ozair shared that Vincent succumbed to heart failure and blockages. If only I had gotten to know Vincent earlier, maybe he would have survived, Dr. Ozair lamented. Vincent spent his short life in pain and discomfort due to an unfortunate condition. He might have survived if he had received treatment right after the swelling began. However, his parents' financial struggles and a lack of free basic health care were significant factors that contributed to his death. His father said, "I missed him. I will miss him so much. My son was one of my best friends, and I will never forget him. I wish he could have lived longer, but my wife and I have accepted that it wasn't meant to be. We also believe that our son is in a better place, and I'm happy that he won't suffer anymore. I also want to thank Dr. Ozair. He is a blessing to my family, and we will always pray for him. Yes, my son didn't get the treatment, but Dr. Ozair gave us hope and was good to us, even though he didn't have to be. I'm glad Vincent was surrounded by people who loved him while he was still alive. His health was a problem, but at least he had his mom and dad, who loved him unconditionally. I'm really keen to know your thoughts on this story, so please don't hesitate to share your insights in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and found it engaging, I invite you to subscribe to our channel for more similar content. Feel free to share this video. Take good care of yourselves, and I'm excited to connect with you in our future videos.